Hello, I'm John Eldridge, and welcome to the Ransomed Heart audio podcast. For more information on Ransomed Heart Ministries, our resources and events, please visit us online at www.ransomedheart.com.
Welcome to the Ransomed Heart podcast. This is Craig McConnell, and I'm joined again today by my two colleagues, friends, buddies, criminals. Alex Burton to my left, to my right, Brad Beck. So, it's summertime. Days are long. I'm just loving this. I mean, it's a little too hot for me personally right now, but oh my gosh, I just love the warm mornings, sun early, the sun staying up later, and I mean, there's vacations we've got planned, and summer just seems so full of life.
Yeah.
What, Brad, Alex, and I'll chime in as well. What do you need this summer? There's a difference between activity and what you're doing, what your plans are. What does your heart? What does your soul? What are you hoping for this summer?
Well, I'm hoping for a change of pace, praying for one. Want to downshift a bit. We do have some vacation, but this is an interesting summer in that only really have kind of one trip planned to Texas to see some friends and to go to a wedding. It's going to be pretty low-key, and it's going to be long on relaxation and short on activity. And as I've looked at the rest of our summer, we're pretty much staying at home and chilling. I mean, there are some things that will be going on, but I'm really looking forward to dropping back into a different gear. And I've got some books I want to read. I've got some videos I want to watch, and I want to kind of sit out in the deck and listen to the pine trees and the wind in the pine trees, and put a fire on and read some books and relax some.
Brad, what does different pace and what does all you're describing, relaxing, being on the deck, what is it in all of that you need? I mean, what does that speak to?
I think sometimes I just run at a pace where I don't examine myself very closely or what's going on. I don't step back and look at a bigger picture. And so I need a slower pace to be able to do that. I just kind of have too much coming at me and tasks and things that do have deadlines and need to be done. And so unless I slow down, I don't gain the space to hear God more clearly and to be able to step back and go, why should I even be doing this? Or should I be doing this a completely different way? I'm kind of in a mode of just routinely doing it because it needs to be done, I think. And that's the way I've always done it. So this is an opportunity to step back, recharge my batteries, and look at everything in my life, in my family's life, and with my kids and with Lisa, and say, all bets off. What should we be doing? We have space now in our life to be able to do anything we really kind of particularly want. What's useful and helpful and God-honoring at this point.
Is it hard for you, even though you're not at work, to change pace and really be a little more reflective and, take it down 3 or 4 gears?
It's hard for me to do it when I'm at home, although I like being at home. It's easier when I feel like I'm away. And so what I want to do this summer in particular is that since I won't have all the travel things going on, I want to be able to do that at home. I want to be able to feel like I'm in Hawaii or Texas or someplace else, and with the calmer pace of that, and then do that at home, because it feels like that's the place for me this summer, and that's the place for the Becks this summer is going to be in Colorado Springs, that are enjoying this beautiful area that we live in.
Yeah. how will that happen if you do it best away and you're at home? I mean, are you going to put notes on the refrigerator?
God's going to have to show up, and somebody's going to have to clunk me over the head, and I'll probably get halfway through the summer and realize I didn't do it. So I'll listen to this podcast, and then God will speak to me. So that's because I'm a big podcast fan. So that's good, Greg. I need to put a sticky note on my forehead or something. Like,
not on your
chill.
forehead. You wouldn't see it.
That's right. I'll put it on Alex's.
No, Alex isn't at home with you.
Oh, he's not? But he comes to work. I see him at work all the time.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I'll let you guys hold me to it. At the end of, this is in July. If you pull me aside this summer, said, how is your summer looking different than every other summer when you stay at home and work too hard?
Hey, Craig, I think really all we need to do is send this podcast to Lisa.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great. Yeah.
No, Brad, you are a phenomenal worker with a really incredible work ethic and a real sense of ownership of the issues in this ministry that you help oversee. And I could see that being hard for you, you know, you're describing something very beautiful, the fire in the fire pit, the book out on the deck. But at the same time, I'm thinking, really, Beck? You'd be out redoing the flagstone, building, working on the fire
cutting
ring,
trees down.
It might depend on what I'm drinking too. So that might that might play a role. But hold me to it, guys.
Yeah. Well,
I need to do it.
May it be, because as
Because
you said, you do need it. You need a break.
Yeah, I do.
And you're a man who probably, in my opinion, doesn't take the time he needs to get those breaks. So, yeah, may it be.
May it be. Thanks.
What does Brad's story stir up in you as he's describing what he wants, Alex? What are you going for, Brad?
Oh, yeah. Hearing what Brad is describing, that's easy for me.
I'm thinking the same thing. Some part of me wishes that was my issue, so I could go do more of it, but it ain't. I'm pretty good there. I could stand to do a little less, which ties into my summer. I was having a conversation with Morgan recently, and he was kind of unpacking the category of non-traditional spiritual disciplines. So you have the more traditional ones, like getting into the scripture and prayer and solitude. Some of those traditional fasting.
Yes, that's a good one. So, anyways, he was helping me understand that there's some non-traditional ones too, and trying to look at areas of maybe some spiritual discipline in the category of things that bring you life. That if you're not doing them, you're just not experiencing that opportunity for more life in God and just in general. So for me, part of that is my body and getting in shape, and so I've for a long time growing up, I'd watch the Ironman triathlons in Kona, and just be amazed at the people and what they could accomplish, and thinking, oh man, I could never do that. And so last summer, I was like, no, I think I could do that if I really worked at it. So I did a couple of triathlons last summer, short ones, a sprint and an Olympic length. And this summer, my next goal is to do a half Ironman. So I'll do half of one. And so I've signed up, doing one up in Boulder at the end of the summer. And so I'm starting to have to work and get in shape for that. And it's a real discipline. And one of the things that's come out of that is trying to find ways to fit that into my day.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways is I live about 15 miles from the outpost, and so I'm starting to ride my bike every day to work, and that feels to me like a non-traditional spiritual discipline, and so far it really is turning out to be that in really surprising ways. I was riding into work, and it was a beautiful day, and I was just thanking God that it wasn't raining, it wasn't
Snowing.
super windy, it wasn't cold, and as I'm riding, I'm starting to find myself worrying about what's going to happen when those days come.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to strategize how I can get out of riding to work on those days. And thinking, well, maybe I should just start checking weather.com on my way or before I head into work each day and make my decision whether I'm going to drive or ride my bike. And then there's this still small voice that says, Alex, let the good days find you. And it was God. And it felt like he was saying something more than just, he was talking about more than just the weather. But in this context, I'm going to ride whether the weather's good or not. And what I'm realizing is I think I'll find some really good days that I wouldn't have gotten out on the bike and done.
Yeah.
Because I would have ruled it out, and it'll actually turn out to be a great day to ride. Through that, God is teaching me there's a lot of areas of my life that I kind of hedge my bets and where I withdraw or disengage because it's not looking like a good day, and it's just safer not to engage in life.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of ways I miss out on good days and more life because I check out from those.
Yeah.
So God's already at work through that non-traditional spiritual discipline.
Yeah. I'm going to ask, just because I think there may be some people listening who have this question. I mean, the amount of discipline for training for this is understandable. In your words, to date, at this point, what makes it a spiritual discipline? I mean, I hear how it's already stirred up some deeper personal issues.
Yes.
But spiritual versus just discipline.
Right. Yeah, I think for me, and that's a great question. Maybe you and I need to have more time to unpack that, Craig. But so far for me, there are areas of my life that just aren't submitted to God, and I think my health is one of those where I'm not walking with God in the area of my health, and seeking what He would desire for my health. I think the spiritual discipline is letting God guide that. And for me right now, it's, He's using a half Ironman at the end of the summer and some of that desire to do that to push me toward a greater health, physical health.
And because I know a bit of your story and you've shared along the way, I mean, it just raises issues. I mean, as you're riding, as you're thinking about riding, as you're thinking about running, I mean, it just it gives God access to areas in your life that nothing else does.
Right. Yeah, that's well put.
Craig, what about you?
I'm embarrassed. I'm sitting here going, what do I need this summer? What do I need? And I don't know.
Well, it's a small dose of Southern California.
You know what I do is I get overwhelmed with desire, and then I get paralyzed by it, and I don't do any of it. I want to study this summer. Feels like I haven't studied. I'd love just to dive into some rich, deep personal studies with God. I want to have rich, wonderful times with my family that we don't get to see, but couple times a year. I mean, as Alex is talking about body and health, I would love for God to do something in me that goes deeper than just discipline, because I don't have the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't seem to have the willpower, and I'm ashamed of that. I hate that. So I'm sitting here, I'm just amazed that I've got a lot of quick responses, but the truth is I haven't asked what I need. I haven't, I kind of haven't taken the time to say, wow, summer's coming, Lord.
What do I need?
What do I need?
Yeah.
I mean, Lori right now is out of town. I have the opportunity to go up and fly fish, spend some time with God, sleep in the back of my truck. That comes to me as one thing, but I don't know. So it maybe that's how we ought to go into our summers. I'm just thinking out loud, is take a little time and say, what do I need?
I think that's a great question.
What's great is God through this is just brought up the category of, you need to ask Craig. You need to ask him.
Yeah. See, the categories I'm thinking in right now as we're talking is, what should I do this summer? I mean, what should I do that would be good for me versus just kind of that open-handed, Lord, what do I need? And that might be very different than my list.
Think you might need some scotch and chocolate.
Yeah. Which was a prescription a Swiss doctor gave me for some health issues. Well, you know what? I'm going to end this podcast right here because I'm feeling uneasy, guilty, and ashamed. But maybe we just come up here and throw out some topics that maybe I'm not the only one who just really needs to ask, Lord, in this next season, what do I need? What do I need? And not to let the hustle and the pace of vacationing and leisure time and filling it with all the activities that summer can trump just that question, what do I need, God?
Yeah.
If you are interested in any of Ransomed Heart's resources, events, we just got a ton of stuff available. And if you go to ransomedheart.com, that's your access point. Thanks for joining us.